Okay, and we are live. Just give me a minute to see if I can simultaneously go live on Facebook and we'll be ready to go. All right, yes, we're ready. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hope you are having a nice day. So, have you ever believed that teachers alone could guarantee your child's academic success? That means teachers are actually bear that sole responsibility for your child's educational journey. Now, if you're one of those parents or students, because students actually tend to think this a lot more than parents, then that is a myth, and I want you to stick around and find out why. But if you're not one of those parents or students, I still want you to stick around and find out a little bit more information about this. So, hello everyone. My name is Sylvia Browne. I am the owner and lead tutor here at the Impact Academy. And what we do is we help students achieve grade 7 to 9 in GCSE Maths and Science exams so that they can then go on into their desired STEM careers. So, been teaching for over a decade now, and during that time, I have noticed that a lot of people, actually mostly students rather than parents, they have this misconception about the role of teachers, and they think that teachers bear that sole responsibility for their fate. This is something that we are going to dismantle today. So we're going to look at how you can ensure that your child's success without relying solely on teachers. Okay, let's just remove that. We're going to be looking at why having a teacher alone is not enough to ensure your child's academic success. The problems with relying solely on teachers, and what parents and students can do to improve their chances of success. So, if you stay till the end, I would be giving you something that you can actually use to help you get started and start implementing what we're going to be talking about today. So, the big misconception then is that teachers alone can ensure a child's educational success. Why is that a myth? Why is that a misconception? Well, it overlooks parents' involvement in reinforcing learning outside the classroom, right? So, what can parent do to help their child outside the classroom? This is one of the big ones for me. Overlook the child's involvement in their own academic success, because it's no one's success but theirs. And then what about challenges that schools are facing these days? So things like budget cuts, structural issues, all of these things that are affecting the quality and quantity of teaching and resources that are available. So by having this sort of mindset, this misconception, there's so many things that we're overlooking. And this belief can really lead to missed opportunities for additional support for the child, overall impacting their academic excellence. So imagine your child is one of those kids who are like, oh, but my teacher didn't do this and my teacher didn't do that. My teacher's responsible for that. Or you're one of those parents that just leave everything to the school and to the teachers. Then what's going to happen is there's going to be gaps in that child's knowledge or certain areas that they need to work in, which we don't know, and we leave that for a long time, and those gaps are not going to be filled, and that's going to result in academic struggles, decreased confidence in learning abilities, increased stress, not just for the child but for you as a parent as well. So let's dive into how can we help improve your child's academic success without solely relying on the school or the teacher? Well, the first thing is student involvement. There is a poem. Poetry was one of those things that I didn't like at school, and now I'm starting to take an interest in. Are there many things that, just getting sidetracked, that you didn't like at school, and then little later you sort of looked back and thought, oh, actually I should have taken some interest in that? So one of them was history, another one is poetry. So there's a poem from this guy, I think it's William something, I don't know his name, and part of the poem says something like, I am the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my ship, but something to that extent. And this is really telling us that we need to take charge of our own success, right? And this is the mindset that we try to instill in our students, that they need to be responsible for their success. Yes, there might be issues happening at school, right? So, kids might say, my teachers have missed a lot of lessons. My teachers are not explaining this to me properly. We don't have a good teacher. We have a lot of turnover of teachers. Fine, these are problems, but what can you do to get to that goal that you want, rather than just trying to rely on the teacher? So by doing these things, then we as students will start to develop this level of independence that will sustain us beyond the classroom. Because when we finish our GCSE, there's going to be no teachers. So how can you be independent to develop the skills that you need for beyond the classroom without trying to, expect somebody to be there all the time? So you want to be doing things. So here you want to be doing things like referring to textbooks, YouTube videos, revision guides, having tutors, additional support. If you're fine with your parents, having your parents help you with your studies. My dad had helped me a lot with my studies when I was at school doing maths, but I know it's different for different families. Some people can clash a lot. So I think for me, student involvement would be the number one thing there. The second thing in terms of helping the child to improve their academic success is parental involvement. As a parent, I want you to stop and think, how much do I really know about what my child is doing at school? How much work they have? Homework. They might say they have homework. How much homework do they have? How long really will that homework take to complete? Right? If a child says to you, if your child says to you, oh yeah, I finished the homework, do you just sort of nod your head and say yes? Or do you check that actually, no, based on that homework, you should have spent more time on it? And do you check the quality of their homework? So little things like this, these are really just some little examples of keeping abreast of what your child is doing, but also the quality of the school, right? Because if the quality of the resources and information and teaching in school isn't good, you're going to notice when every time you see your child's work and there's hardly anything there and nobody has spoken to you about it at school. So when we start to give abreast of these things, we can then start to identify gaps and issues from either the child, where's the child struggling, what is the child not doing, what might the child be ignoring because they have a little bit of anxiety about it, but also, as I say, from the school as well. And then we'll take the next step to address it, to fill in those gaps. Other things could be required resources. If your child says, oh, this is the resource that they've recommended, do you say, yeah, sure, that's fine? Or do you check it and say, actually, with my child, this is great, but they might also need something else challenging. Oh, I think this would also be useful for them, and oh, are you using those resources? Are you checking that they're using those resources? And then also, does your child have a conducive study environment at home? Do they have a routine for homework and revision? Because all of these things help them to achieve their goals at KS3, at GCSE, but for me, more importantly, beyond school, because that's what we focus on here. It's not just about, can I pass my exams? But what happens is a lot of people pass their exams, a lot of people, even do well at university, and they get stuck in that real world. So if somebody is able to develop that discipline, that consistency, that routine from early on, then guess what? Beyond the classroom, they are going to be the ones that are going to stand out. And last way that you can help to improve your child's academic success by not solely relying on teachers is tutor and teacher involvement. Now, this should really say parental involvement, but I don't want to have another one that says parental involvement, so I've just kind of put teacher and tutor. But really, this is another parental involvement. Are you communicating regularly with the child's teachers or tutors? I know that for me, I really love speaking to my parents who contact me and say, "Oh, how's my child doing? Oh, thanks for sending me the progress report," or thanks for their progress, and so on and so forth. Because these are the parents that just know where the child are at and what areas they need to focus on, what areas they need to improve on. So definitely be able to do this if your child has a tutor, with a tutor, but also at school, make any opportunities for Parents' Day, parents teacher meetings, and that kind of thing. Make sure you get involved in that where possible. And one of the key things I want to say here is, what a lot of people do is they take action when they're concerns. No, don't do that. Always be involved, always keep abreast, always try and have that regular communication with your child's tutor or your child's teacher. Like, really don't accept magic to happen just because your child goes to school or just because your child have a tutor. You want to work with them together. Okay, so in summary then, let me just make sure that I have, done that. In summary then, a child's educational success depends on teachers/tutors, if they have one, parents, and students. And all three of those need to work together like a puzzle, fitting really well together. And if one is missing, this could limit the success. So I just want you to sort of think about that. Sometimes where your child is not doing well, how much have I done? Based on how much I can do. Obviously, everybody has different lives and so on and so forth. But how much, based on what I can do, how much have I done? What are my child? How much have they done? Food for thought. So you can see that diagram there of like the three puzzles of your teacher, your parents, and your students. Who do you think will the largest puzzle represent? Is it going to represent you as a parent? So the largest puzzle that will make the biggest difference in the child's outcome with school. Is it going to represent you as a parent? Is it going to represent the child? Or is it going to represent the child's teacher/school? Interested to know your thoughts about this. So drop your comment down below. It will be quite interesting to see what you all think about that. Now, so that your child can start to implement these things and start to take action towards their own success, I created a guide called 3 Simple Steps to Achieve Top Grades in GCSE Maths and Science. And I'm going to give you access to that for free. So they can really use that as their starting point to start improving their grades. In there, it's got what are some of the key things that your child can start doing now to reach those top grades. And it's also got like 3 top methods that I use with my students to help them improve 2 or more grades and hit at least grade 7+. So if you're interested in that guide, whether you're a parent watching this or you're a child watching this, just comment PDF guide below and we will give you access to it. All right, that is all for now. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye for now.